Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 876-922-4112 to 5. Text line same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And those who got disconnected with the technical glitch earlier on, we're back up and running on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube. So you can get back on. And Moralist says slavery is going to repeat. Let's look at that. Slavery is going. Where did the message go? Let's go back up here. From Moralist, slavery is going to be repeated in our time. The way is being prepared, and hunger will make man sell themselves much more their brothers. Well, nobody knows what the future holds. We'll see. Thank you for your message, Moralist. And here is a call coming through on our text line, which acts as our WhatsApp number and also a straight line to us here in the studios of Power 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
I'm a listener. I've been listening for a while, but I had to call, to address a texter who texted earlier saying that we should seek reparation from our fellow Africans who they say sold us into slavery. And that person needs to be re-educated, man. That's what I mean, and it upset me for a bad, man. So I just decided to call, and that text I need to do some research. You know what I mean? It's just like how they try to play down the importance of the Maroons. They try to play down our ancestors, and it's disturbing. That's what I mean. So I just called to.
And that is not to say that our ancestors and the Maroons are above criticism, is it?
No, I'm not saying that. But you see, even when people try to criticize the Maroons, they're looking at it from a no point of view. But then the Maroons didn't have the luxury of social media and media in general. So they were just basically trying to secure their little freedom in terms of that hustle and fight against the British, which they could not sustain that battle for any sustained period of time. And news did not travel like it's traveling now.
So it's about context then.
Yes.
Everything in its proper context. But wouldn't the enslavers be able to argue along those lines as well then? To say it was in keeping with the times and what was acceptable at the time.
Yes, I agree. So I mean, but I'm looking at it from our ancestors' point of view. It was in a country. For example, the Maroons fighting against the largest army at the time in the world. You know what I mean? In the mountains. It's just a matter of time before they might have been overwhelmed by the great British force, That's what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they have to make a decision to survive. Their group that run away, they were in contact. They didn't have any social media to be in contact with the plantation, so to speak, to know what's going on and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? There was like a disconnect between the Maroons and the slaves and the plantation, You don't let them go down to the plantation and talk with slaves and say, things, how life going. You know what I mean? So it's context. You know what I mean? So that's my point. That's my view on all of that, Dervan. So I mean,
Sure. Thank you
and
for sharing.
I'm gonna continue listening because I have to step out the office for a little bit.
Yeah.
So what I mean,
Hmm.
and to make this call, you know.
We
So
appreciate
call
the
me
call.
listener
Mm.
from North Carolina.
Listener from North Carolina. I'll make a note of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for the
Enjoy the
call.
program. All right.
Thank you. All right. Take care. Bye bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Let's go to the phone lines once again, 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I am giving thanks for life as usual. And you?
I'm good.
Good.
Dervan, I agree with the last caller wholeheartedly in terms of the context in which things should be seen.
Yes.
Because, Dervan, when you look at slavery, who benefited most, irrespective of who caught the one?
That's quite obvious.
Yes, so that's why I say if we contextualize, the guy who talk about the forefathers, his argument is redundant.
Mm-hmm.
And look now, let us draw a contrast. In the persecution of the Jews, there must have been collaborators amongst them, you know.
There would have to have been.
All right? That point is never stressed.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, we as a people, we always want to major in minor. We always want to find a needle in the haystack. But like, I like the old African proverb say, you know, the wise man points to the sky and all the fool can see his finger. We're in that age. Yes.
Yes.
Reasoning, we so resigned from reasoning, you know.
Mm.
We like to buy a narrative because, you know, some people in school, they like to swat.
And a lot of that happens at this time of the year. It's end of year exams.
And when you swat, sometimes, you know, if you forget joining words, you know, you forget the whole context, you know.
Yes. True.
And you become the dust trouble now. You lose your car.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I call it to say to Dervan, you see, in politics, I try to see politics deep in Dervan, because politics to me is in everything in Dervan.
Oh, yes, for sure. Undoubtedly.
I always say politics is so good, it makes even the beggar pay tax. Because the man in the street doesn't buy a cigarette and pay GCT.
Mm-hmm.
In the madman.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yes.
You see, in the recent race for the Commonwealth.
Yes, for the position of Commonwealth Secretary General.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know, say, when, you know, how I look at it, you see, Jamaica was foisted in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica was like a fodder in a war.
But even though Kamina Johnson Smith up to yesterday, speaking with Dion Jackson Miller, denied any such thing and rubbished that kind of position.
Sir, I wouldn't expect less. But you, as a learned man, when you listen to that interview with Dion Jackson Miller in its entirety, she was wobbling in her knowledge of the Commonwealth and her intention.
I wasn't listening that intently to draw the conclusions that you have, but I heard the bit, because that's the thing sometimes when you're doing other things while the radio is in the background. But I did hear the bit when she flatly rubbished the piece about her being an actor in a or a pawn.
Let us back up momentarily.
Yes.
But the chronology at the whole event. When did she initiate with her bid? Could you give me a date?
No, not off the top of my head. But what we know at this stage is that there was a meeting in Belize. I don't remember the nature of the meeting, but it involved top members of the respective executives of the countries that were represented in Belize.
Yes.
And coming out of that meeting, we had heard that there was some kind of consensus that there would be no challenge to the position of Secretary General.
Yes.
And only to hear. I think it was on a Friday. I don't remember the date, but it was on a Friday that an announcement was made of that Kamina Johnson Smith would be running for the position of Commonwealth Secretary General, which
All right.
took everybody by
Yes.
surprise.
All right. If we using the integrity as a barometer, would you say that the integrity in it coming from a meet that more or less a consensus was held?
Well, it's a function of how those who were in attendance received that information, whether they they agreed wholeheartedly or they acknowledged or otherwise gave any weight to that kind of position. So it's a function of the people who were there and how.
Well, you know,
Mm,
the whole thing, the onus of guilt is on her to prove her innocence. You know, she couldn't name the numbers that was tied with her. Marcus, no one asked her to name the countries, but she didn't have a number. Not even a number, vaguely.
well, you never in an election situation, the numbers thing can mess you up too. You think you have the numbers until election day.
One thing.
Hold a moment, please.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876 754 7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is 3 o'clock. Our children are the rocks on which our future will be built. The future leaders of our country who will protect our people. Here's a Jubilee salute to Jamaica's children with 60 great essays by our top students in the Gleaner's Best in Class book. Available for purchase at the Gleaner Library, 7 North Street, the Argyle Gleaner Gift Shop, 32 Lyndhurst Road, and the Gleaner's Western Bureau offices at 23 Orange Street, Montego Bay. The Gleaner, where life unfolds.
Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance in association with Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging. Immune Active Drink, a combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense. And Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to praise, to worship, and to serve, presents Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with host Alicia Taylor and rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson airs every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
Yes, thanks for holding. So sometimes when it comes, well, invariably when it comes on to elections, you have people saying, "Yeah, man, you're all right, man. Don't worry yourself. You're safe. We have you." And then it's a matter of what people do or fail to do at the time. Anyway, go ahead with the point.
Well, you see, in a wider sense, I didn't like to see women going up against women because, the psychology of that.
Mhm.
There was a psychology in that, two black women going up and two black women for office that's almost menial to
Yeah.
the world.
Well, I tell you something that as you mentioned that, I have seen, because I like to think that in my head, I'm an anthropologist, I like to study people. So invariably, I would look at women's reactions or the reaction of females in general, wherever I am. And as my late mother would say, they can give them fellow females some dirty look when they're ready. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is. There's this, I don't know if it's unique to the females, but there is, and again, it's not scientific, but on the face of it is something that I've always noticed. And I've been watching for many, many years now, how females react and relate to other females in general terms. And more often than not, you get that kind of angst or some kind of tension or other emotion. So you're onto something in terms of playing one female against another.
Well, say we're thinking along the same line historically then, because I always noticed women oppose women much more than men do.
Yeah.
Especially a woman that has aspirations or natural quality or even with some looks too.
Yeah. And if she moves up too fast, mind you, there are all kinds of scenarios and situations out there, big people think, but there's this tendency, how come she get that position? People start questioning. People forget if the person did any studies or whatever, or had the experience. People have the tendency to put it down to something else.
And look, no, just like I said, within the Jewish time, they got their reparation, because even now, they're trying, the oldest man who collaborated, he got 5 years in Germany, he's 101.
Wow.
Just now, hours ago, you can monitor any of the media. That's big news.
Yes.
And I was saying, in our world, where sometimes Christianity seems dominant, and that's in the good book Testament times saying,
yes,
you should forgive. That's the least mentioned word in my international level, One of the things that's catching up on the world, and they will go admit reluctantly, is the hypocrisy that was ruling all along, that was caught up with them, the double standard.
Yeah.
It has unveiled so much that it has created a rebellion in the lower class. Because they're sick of it, you telling them what to do,
Yeah.
And everywhere you look now, people realizing, damn, this was done in democracy. People see everything as a fake now and doing their own thing.
Yeah. Taking their destinies in their own hands.
Yes. Because look at some of the things we support as compromise and business. Say within the war in Syria right now, the only reason why Israel don't condemn Russia invasion is because Russia allows Syria, Israel, to target Iranian or Syrian targets that is deemed a threat in their own country.
Yeah, there are quite a few unholy alliances. Yes.
But those things exist due to the ignorance of the people and the immediacy of some narratives that they sell.
True.
Because I'll give a perfect example now. I woke up this morning to about 10 advertisements at the Ministry of Finance advertising the new package that he has for the workers.
Which one is that? The one for the taxi drivers?
No. The agreement is...
Oh. Yes.
We comprising all of the benefits.
Right.
And as psychologists, the real purpose of an advertisement, is to make you miss what you never have.
I've never heard it put that way, but I get the point you're making.
Yes, so if you told me why are you selling it?
I think we've heard the minister in interviews pushing back to say that he's always quick to ensure in his way that people hear what he is saying and what he is putting across, because he feels there are others who are twisting and misinterpreting and otherwise putting information out there which according to him is not accurate. Yes.
Especially right now, he's in talk with, I think, the civil service union and a few more unions due to certain alteration as we speak.
Yes.
So it should be advertised as a conclusion when you're in a process.
Yeah, well, I guess that's part of the PR.
Well, you're so right. But, sometimes we think of people speaking to our ears when it's our eyes that they must convince. Have a good day, sir.
Thanks for the call. Take care. Same to you. Your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Curtis in Claremont, St. Anne says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm and everyone everywhere. Sir Malcolm and everyone, that guy should be behind bars. He shouldn't be out here for police to be asking him to come in. The girl was 17 at the time of her death, and the baby is 4 months old. So that means she was 15 plus when the person got to her. And that's unfortunately one of the whatever that the details of that particular case, generally speaking, uh, we have had quite a long history of those kinds of engagements over the years. Long history, and yeah, maybe a little less now, but well, or is it? We'll have to do some research on that. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. This is Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. All right, let's go to driver. That wasn't you. That wasn't for you, driver. But since that person is not paying attention on the line, we're coming to you now. Greetings. Good afternoon.
Good
Thanks
afternoon,
for
my brother.
calling.
How is everything?
We're giving thanks as usual.
Yeah, good afternoon to all the listeners. Brother Dervan, on the whole thing about Africans selling Africans into slavery. You know, brother, we Africans, and just speaking on this issue right now,
Yes.
we're, through romanticism or whatever, I just flat out illusion or denial, don't like the truth. And the whole thing, the caller that pointed to it, I'm not really into the reparation thing, but as far as the assigning blame, guilt to who it is, the Africans, the Dahomey Empire, the Ashanti Empire, countries like Benin, Angola, all of them. You go through the whole thing. We'll even go back to the Old Testament Bible. Joseph being sold into slavery by his brothers. It is not alien. And until we accept that these were the Europeans just took advantage of a situation that they observed. And it wasn't just black people being sold into slavery. They needed agriculturalists. And we had that skill to come to this, what they call the New World, and develop their agriculture. But going back to the real issue, Brother Dervan.
Yes.
We like to walk or even, as I say, deny the reality of this thing because it doesn't fit the narrative of sitting down on the white man, the white man, the white man. We are equally to be blamed, our people. The white man was running across Africa, picking up millions and millions and millions of Africans to load those slave ships. Am I incorrect in that regard, sir?
No, not at all.
Okay. So it's just a matter of assigning, and the brother that spoke about the Maroons. Simple. It was just continuing that same tradition. A lot of people were kidnapped from their neighboring villages, and to this day it continues, Brother Dervan. To this day, you heard about places being raided in Nigeria and how many people they find in chains and this and that and stuff. To this day it continues. This day continues.
But I've been seeing some pictures. I haven't been able to verify. I'm saying I've been seeing some pictures. I've been trying to verify if this is for real. Where black bodies somewhere in Europe, somewhere between somewhere near Spain, where it is alleged that black people are being ill-treated, and some of them have a lot of them have been killed, but I'm not sure where that is coming from because I know it's the age of where people can just put out whatever pictures and make it whatever they will. But no, I just remember that. So I'm
Africa, Dervan, to Africa, dear, Nigeria. Right now, there are cases, cases in the courts of people who modern day slavery against people who had them in slavery and stuff like that. It's almost like a tradition still unspoken to have people in slavery,
So you would think by now we would be would be,
Sir.
you would think by now that would be done and over, but apparently it's not going anywhere. It's still lingering.
It's a part of, it was a part of the culture then, more so then,
Mhm.
and it is still so.
Apparently,
Our brothers and sisters, with disregard for each other.
yeah,
The elites
yeah,
or whoever can do it. And the reason I bring that up is we have to face the truth. As I said, the truth sets you free. It gives you mental space, and until we unshackle our minds, pardon the pun,
Mhm.
from that narrative, that assigns blame to others, we will really start to liberate ourselves,
Yeah.
because it is there. Anybody want to dispute it? Go. It is in the history. And it is the modern day also.
Mhm.
And we just have to accept that that is the way it was. And
These
move
days,
on from there.
they call it human trafficking.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
But just common sense. Could the white man have gone to Africa and rounded up those millions of black people, run through the villages and everywhere and capture them?
Not,
Common sense,
yeah,
people.
yeah. Indeed.
Accept the truth.
We're up on a break. Would you
Yeah,
like to hold or leave it there?
I'll hold, my brother.
All right,
hold.
one moment, please.
The NWC Contact Center, serving you in so many ways. Call 888-225-5692 or 888-CALL-NWC. The time by the NWC is 3:15.
Do you own land and need your title now? Come to Geoland Title Limited. We do first-time title application, land surveys included, estate matters, lost title application, add remove names on your registered titles. Have no land documents? Come see us. We can help. We're in Kingston, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, St. Anne, Westmoreland, and St. James. Or see us online, geolandonline.com, or call 754-6436. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Geoland Title Limited, your land partners. Land title is our business.
Both sides of the story.
We want to help save precious lives by creating greater awareness about safe driving practices. This Wednesday, June 29, Power 106 FM will bring you another in our series of road safety broadcasts. Join both sides of the story with host Dervan Malcolm 2 to 5 p.m. for a live broadcast from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot. This broadcast is brought to you by the Island Traffic Authority and the Road Safety Unit. That's a live broadcast of both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm this Wednesday, June 29, 2 to 5 p.m. from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Driver in America is on the line. Please continue.
Yes, brother Dervan. Like a lot of people would like to, it's got me into the same issue so many times with so many different so-called learned people. I go to their conferences and they start this foolishness because they're pandering to us black people as if we're stupid. To say, okay, you blame the European. But I say to you people, who would disagree with me? Brother Dervan, I don't know if the program time will allow you, the opportunity to research, Google rather, the approximate number of Africans that were sold into slavery and compare that to the kind of effort that it would have taken on the Europeans' part to go inside of Africa and extract these people to send them. Common sense people, the Europeans, we would have had that in history, the Europeans running across Africa, capturing people. There is no such narrative. It was our brothers and sisters, who sold us, who they conquered or kidnapped or whatever into slavery. And I will take it another step, Brother Dervan. And this is why, you remember I told you about us Jamaicans being the tip of the spear But we lose, we lose the sense of ourselves. Back when Garvey, and even before Boga and all these great people, when people were putting Jamaica on the map, when Ushera spoke at the UN 1962, when our flag was hoisted there. After that, Manley and other people who came, in the international realm, when we boycotted South Africa before even independence in 1958. Jamaica, the first country, research it. We had 12,000 pound trade with South
Yes,
Africa.
that is true. That's a fact. That's a fact. You're correct.
Yes, sir. And Nelson Mandela himself acknowledged us when he came out. We were leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Africa on a whole in the United Nations on the international stage saw Jamaica as the light for Africa. And I say that to say, like Joseph thrown into the pit, us Jamaicans sold into slavery, all the different people, all the different tribes, as Brother Ronnie called it, the cauldron of slavery in the belly of that slave ship. Our ancestors belly pain to birth us, to become the nation that we were on that path to development, to leading the black world, to leading, as Ambassador Ward spoke the other day with Brother Simon, when he was in the middle of the negotiation between Ukraine and Russia and those things, Jamaicans were highly respected. And then I researched further after hearing him, and in an article that he wrote in the Gleaner, and that is why we got sidelined as a nation, not because of Manley alone. A lot of people like to say because of Manley and socialism, but because Jamaica was taking that role. A lot of countries were were going with us. We were radicals. We were viewed as radicals to the, how would I say, the conservative states, and I'll call names, the United States. There's when Roosevelt speaking of Somoza in Nicaragua, way back, and said he's an SOB, but he's our SOB. The same thing was attributed to Franco in Spain, another dictator, to Rio in Santo Domingo. That's how these countries, USA, I live here, I serve in there, I'm military and everything, love the country, but I don't, the policy man, and up to this day they're meddling and causing world, a lot of discomfort in the world. Not to say, we can supposed to sit down and take a leave, but especially in Jamaica, we were derailed because we had that role internationally. And I go back to what I was speaking about. We came here, God, divine. I told you that before, Brother Dervan. Divinity. To be born in the time that we were, and to have a Marcus Garvey come out and lead. He's not giving the credit. Even here in the United States, all the black movement and everything, Garvey started that. They even imitated his style. Martin Luther King, all them orators and stuff. That was Garvey's style they were imitating, But I digress. Us Jamaicans, we were like special people. And that was a benefit. Yeah, slavery, they sold us. They thought that was the end of us. But like Joseph, we came to the West and we were leaders. We were well on our way until, we were derailed. As Ambassador Ward pointed out in his article, by other interests. And subsequently, I take it to modern day, we are. Anybody can manipulate us and put us up to run against whomever or what. We don't have that role anymore. How are we on the international stage right now compared to those times, Brother Dervan? You're a student of history, sir.
Yeah. Well, in the words of the Foreign Affairs Minister, she doesn't see Jamaica's position as being weakened by what has happened. She says to the contrary. I'm not sure what is that.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir, but it's reality. These people are politicians, and they're apologizing for their error. stuff like that.
yeah.
Like Kagame, who has become a clown in Africa, and all these people. The major interests like us, people who they can have derail other movements against them.
Well,
in other regions.
he apparently is very good at what he does, because he's regarded as one of the key influencers in the region.
No, brother Dervan, he's a puppet. The billions and billions and billions of dollars that the U.S. have pumped in behind him to be their strongman in Africa, to be their darling tyrant, as he is called. Because that man is wreaking havoc on Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo with his march, something another movement, his mercenaries that he has operating in these countries. Brother Dervan, you see, like they say, when the lion, you've heard that thing, when the lion writes a story, or the hunter,
Yes,
writes the story, it will be a different narrative. When the hunter writes it, it's a different story. When the lion writes it, it will be a different story. And that is what is going on, Brother Dervan. And I go back to that. That's what, we got to the part where we're so malleable now. Anybody can come and manipulate us. Donald Trump vote against Venezuela. This one, go against the, convention. Step up again, and like somebody said earlier, the papers are reporting Boris Johnson's candidate, not Jamaica's candidate, lost. You know what I mean? But, again, I'm going from slavery to know. We were Joseph, Brother Dervan. We were Joseph. That's Jamaica, the tip of the spear. And when I migrated way back then, that's how Jamaica was regarded. Africa, whenever people see you and they talk to you, I tell you, man, I'm the time. And it's not no PMP, JLPG, it's just that this is the only time I experienced it.
So
When
is that,
spoke at the United Nations.
is Jamaica's status as described by Ambassador Ward and you and so many others, is that position irretrievable?
Brother Dervan, that is what people like yourself, the diaspora, and people who know better and, are trying to do. But you see, I go to Brother Trevor Monroe, and I thank Richie Nima for pointing me towards this work. I don't remember the title of it right now. And Richie, I haven't heard you on the radio in a long time. My brother, I hope everything is well, one love. But Brother Trevor Monroe speaking about Jamaica after colonialism. Spoke of both parties as being permanently locked into a campaign cycle. They're always campaigning. In terms of leadership and all that kind of stuff, which is why, I even heard somebody spoke earlier about why we're concerned with foreign issues, to focus on just domestic issues as if, we're living in a vacuum somewhere. But nonetheless, that is what people who are internationally minded and recognize from whence we came. That is what we're running on right now in Brother Dervan, the momentum that these people gave us. We're running out of gas, just course and hope we don't stop,
Except that those of us who have the gift of discernment, and those of us who are well read and not easily led, well read and not easily led, will assert ourselves to make it clear. There's a poem by Muta Baruka which says, it goes something, me no way up to big man, me no way up to. Me no way up to, no way up to, no way up to. So there's those of us who know better and have this sense of what is supposed to be and what is amiss. We have to be clear so that we let those who think we don't know that we in fact know what is happening or what they're up to.
And most of our, Brother Dervan, in that same vein, know the truth from fiction.
That's right.
And just figure we can just go with our own concept of the truth. There's something that says we're entitled to our own opinions, but not our own facts.
That's correct.
When we know the truth, we will free ourselves. So, black man, black woman, black child, you know what I mean? Make we recognize what is the truth and stop feeding ourselves, fiction. And when we know the truth, we can fix the problem and start repairing our nation. You know what I mean?
Well said.
Dervan, it's one love, and I like what you're doing, and people just need to be truthful, man.
Yes, Ziggy Marley has a song. Ziggy Marley has a song. Got to be true to myself. Thank you.
That is the bottom line, my brother.
Take care.
One love.
One love. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. It is a Tuesday afternoon, coming up to 3:30, which means we have our This is Jamaica feature. And so we're going to take the break and come back with that feature. Apologies, those who are holding online. If you'd like, we could take your numbers and call you back. We can do that. So that's an option, because we're going to do this This is Jamaica feature right now. Stand by.
You gonna rise up singing. Yes, you spread your wings.
Protecting Jamaica's borders from illicit imports and exports is a key priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. The JCA will remain vigilant and resolute in effectively fulfilling this mandate. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
Gen Zers, we're back. Gen Z returns with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics, and a whole new vibe. We're talking
I'm sending you what you need to play
dancing,
as an opening.
dancehall. You think it? We discuss it. You don't want to miss it. So join us Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Power 106 FM and 6:30 p.m. on TVJ. Gen Z, a show for the youths, by the youths.
Farmers, farm store owners.
Sending you the contact now.
Jamaica Limited has all the answers for your farming
Overseas
needs.
number.
Tune in every Wednesday during Farm Talk for the feature Farming Today, as we educate you on how to farm smarter. That's Farming Today, every Wednesday during Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica Limited, 2 East Ashenheim Road, Kingston.
This is Jamaica. This is my country. A son of this island, a daughter of this land. Fearless of fear, I stand in awe. Only love prevails, secured in God's hands. This is Jamaica, where joy cometh in the morn, surrounded by mystic waters, crashing upon the shores where only heroes are born. Only if you knew Jamaica as well as I do, then you would utter, I love you, Jamaica. God knows I do. This is Jamaica, a simple speck in the universe. Our hearts beat and pulse in every nation, but only second to the kingdom of God. We put Jamaica first. I am Jamaican, regardless of where you may find me. Black, green, and gold is the marrow in my bones. So if I die away from my island, I pray to God you'll take me home.
Peter Gray says, "This is Jamaica. It's a poem. It's an organization. It's a poetry scholarship competition. It is a celebration of Jamaica and Jamaicans." And this afternoon, we're going to be joined by Mrs. Judy Villeneuve Dice. She is Chief Financial Officer for Education Solutions International, and she's scheduled to join us shortly as we discuss the importance of poetry in the classroom as a tool of self actualization and personal development, and a means of exercising one's intellect and just having that kind of exposure that would put one in a much better place. And that is the plan. So if you need more information, you can visit thisisjamaica.org. Thisisjamaica.org. Joining us now, as we said, Chief Financial Officer, Education Solutions International, Judy Villeneuve Dice. Good afternoon, Mrs. Villeneuve Dice. How are you?
Good afternoon. It's always a pleasure to be on with you, Dervan. How are you today?
I am fine, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of This is Jamaica during both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Can you give us an indication as to how you came to be engaged in this project? This is Jamaica. How did you get involved?
Well, the Northeast representative, Dr. Karen Dunkley, is very close to Mr. Peter Gracie. And it's in our dealings through Dr. Dwayne Dice, of course, and the Education Solutions International company that we have established that we became familiar with Mr. Gracie and heard about this wonderful opportunity for students. And because that is our goal, to be able to support students and education in general in Jamaica, Dr. Dice thought it was an excellent opportunity to be able to sponsor this particular competition as part of the number of different opportunities he's making available for students and teachers in the Caribbean.
And there seems to be a nexus between Education Solutions International and Peter Grace's Jamaica Poetry Scholarship Competition.
Absolutely. We see our students in Jamaica as the future, and we want to make sure that they have all of the opportunity to be able to meet their potential. And so Peter Gracie's competition gives students an opportunity to showcase their talent in a very patriotic way that kind of gives acknowledgement to our source, right? Source being Jamaica. We're all Jamaicans. And it's such a beautiful way to be able to express themselves through poetry. And it's just one of many opportunities that our students need to have access to in order to realize themselves, right? Because everything starts from having confidence, and having the confidence is built on experience. And while it's a competition, it's a pleasant competition in a creative venue. And it's just something that we all love to hear them perform. So it's a wonderful opportunity for not only Education Solutions International, but also for Dr. Dwayne Dice to continue his thematic approach to supporting Jamaican students.
Let's say a word now about the possibilities of having this kind of collaboration. For example, participation of an organization like Education Solutions International and This is Jamaica. Is this just a one-off engagement, or are you hoping that more, or looking forward to more coming out of this relationship?
Well, I mean, we've struck it off as far as friends. Now, we're all good friends, and we all are on the same page as far as the way that we want to give back to Jamaica. And Dr. Dwayne Dice and Peter Gracie have been speaking about other potential possibilities for them to work together in the future to expand not only this competition, but their collaboration in general, and the support that they're doing in Jamaica. So Dr. Dwayne Dice, in addition to, of course,
sponsoring personally the award money that's going to be given to the winning students for this competition. He also has different grants that people can see on the website that are also available for teachers. We have an innovation grant right now, encouraging teachers to come up with a process that allows them to really realize an innovative practice in the classroom, for example. So whatever we can do, and Peter Gracie, of course, is familiar with that, whatever we can all do as a community, as the diaspora in general, to support students is our goal. So we are looking forward to the opportunity of collaborating more with Peter Gracie. He's a wonderful guy, and he's all heart. He's obviously been doing this for a while, and he's extremely committed to students and poetry and creativity. He's a very creative person. So it's really a pleasure and an honor to be able to collaborate with him on this project.
Could you back up a bit and remind those of us who know, enlighten those who don't, of that program that you mentioned a short while ago of promoting innovation in the classroom as far as the educators are concerned? Is that open now for educators here in Jamaica to experience what
Absolutely.
Yes.
Dr. Dwayne Geis introduced the grant when he was the keynote speaker at the Jamaican Teacher Association annual conference that took place a couple months ago. And that information and that application is online on educationsolutionsinternational.org. That is the website. It's on the first page. And what it allows for teachers to do is to submit in 250 words an educational practice that's innovative, that's getting our students back into being engaged in what they're learning. Because we realize that our students are progressing in ways that technology is taking them into different directions. They're just evolving in ways that we need to make sure that we're keeping up with. And in doing so, our teachers and all of us in education need to find very innovative, creative ways to keep our students focused on learning, but in ways that they feel that is acceptable to them. It can't be the way we would like to do it or the way it used to be done. So innovation is a critical key point to making this happen. So they can go on educationsolutionsinternational.org, fill out the application, and there's an award. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be awarding people in all 14 parishes. So we're hoping that obviously we get participants in all 14 parishes. And then, that's just the beginning. We intend to create other opportunities as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds very exciting already, and I just love the idea of encouraging teachers, to educators to be innovative, to be creative, instead of just the standard what they call. I don't know if they still call it that. Do they still use chalk these days? But chalk and talk. There's a sense that it needs to be more than just chalk and talk in terms of how we approach education if we are to really and truly reach the students where they are and help them to shine that light that each of them has inside.
Yes, you're so right. And that's what we feel very deeply, that we need to keep up with what our students need. It has to be something that appeals to them, because we're competing with all of the other different advertising, the social media. We're really in competition with them for their attention.
That's right.
And we know that what we have to offer as educators is going to set them up for the rest of their lives. These are the things that are their foundation for building a future for themselves and for their family. So it is up to us, unfortunately, to go out and do whatever we need to do to keep them interested in the learning that's going to help them to be successful citizens. And not just citizens in Jamaica, but world citizens. I mean, we're all over the place. Dr. Dice and I just returned from Dubai, and we met 8 different Jamaicans over there. It was incredible. We're everywhere. So we want to make sure that wherever our Jamaicans are traveling, that they're prepared and that they're ready. And the only way to do that is through a solid education.
Very well put. And it does help as well when we incentivize the performance of these students, because that in and of itself does make a difference, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We all need incentive, honestly. I mean, life can get very stressful, And I find myself personally, being in education, that students often don't know even why they're in the classroom per se. They know that they're supposed to learn this. They know that their parents told them it's important. And all these people in church are telling them, but they need to see the relevance. And we need to connect the relevance of the education to their future. We have to find a way to make sure they understand why it's essential, because unless they're intrinsically motivated, it's unsustainable. And it's only to their detriment if we don't sustain their interest in learning. So that's why it's a priority. It has to remain a priority. So competitions, like Peter Gracie's competitions, getting them out, getting them involved in ways that are, getting their creative juices flowing. Dr. Dice's innovation grants, making teachers accountable to ensuring that kids are engaged. This is all going to result in the effect that we want, and that is students that are not only encouraged and incentivized to learn, but intrinsically motivated to do so, to take it to the next level, right? So they can continue on to be successful citizens.
And this no doubt can only be up and up and up from here, based on the kind of feedback and interest and participation so far. We're coming up on a break. We have a couple more questions and then we wrap the segment. One moment, please. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, this is Jamaica, our weekly feature, and we'll come back to This is Jamaica in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance in association with Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging. Immune Active Denk, a combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense. And Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to praise, to worship, and to serve, presents Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now, with host Alicia Taylor and rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson, airs every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
Both sides of the story.
We want to help save precious lives by creating greater awareness about safe driving practices. This Wednesday, June 29, Power 106 FM will bring you another in our series of road safety broadcasts. Join both sides of the story with host Dervan Malcolm 2 to 5 p.m. for a live broadcast from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot. This broadcast is brought to you by the Island Traffic Authority and the Road Safety Unit. That's a live broadcast of both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm this Wednesday, June 29, 2 to 5 p.m. from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot, right here on Power 106 FM.
It is summertime. The students going on summer break. Some are already on break, especially in the United States. It is summertime. That's our theme music this afternoon, Summertime by Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. Thank you so much for staying with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. We've been going through our regular Tuesday afternoon feature. This is Jamaica. If you need more information, you can always go to thisisjamaica.org. Thisisjamaica.org. No space. Thisisjamaica.org. And on this week's edition, Judy Villeneuve Dice, the Chief Financial Officer of Education Solutions International, has been sharing with us her experience, her level of engagement with the organization. This is Jamaica, and the support that Dr. Dice, also of Education Solutions International, is giving to this initiative. Once again, to put it simply, This is Jamaica. It's a poem that that Peter Gracie was inspired to write, and discussed it with us. Uh, I mean, we came in at the back end because we hadn't learned of the organization and the poetry scholarship competition. But when we found out, we thought this is a brilliant idea, and that we should ensure that it gets all the support that it needs. And so that work continues. So every week we have a spokesperson in addition to the information that you get in relation to the poetry competition. It should start. I think they should start uh, accepting applications or entries in September. I think it's September. That's when they'll start accepting. So sharpen, use the summer, apart from having some fun safely and maintaining some reading, etc. Make sure you work on your poetry skills, and not just in terms of writing it, but also in presenting, because remember, this is on YouTube as well. You can look for This is Jamaica on YouTube, and you will see some of these students from the various schools in Jamaica who have participated in this competition. So then, Judy Villeneuve, thank you for Villeneuve Dice. Thank you for holding the line. Chief Financial Officer, Education Solutions International. What's the future looking like from here, based on all that has happened so far, and the support that's been given to This is Jamaica, and naturally that will also flow to Education Solutions Limited. There's a song by Third World, Now That We Found Love, What Are We Going to Do? So tell us, Judy Villeneuve Dice.
Well, I mean, I have to say thank you to you, Dervan, because even though these opportunities are available, this is Jamaica competition. The application is available online, not only on thisisjamaica.com, but we also have it on our website as well to try to get that information out there. But we really need people to participate. We really need to make sure that they are applying and submitting their entries. And that's been the hardest part. It's amazing. You can have all of the right intentions, but unless we get people to participate, then then we don't get the results that we're looking for. So I just want to thank you for promoting This is Jamaica competition. The award is really remarkable, that the students will be receiving, the winning students will be receiving. It's going to be in U.S. and it's a considerable amount of money, but I'll let the other speakers, because I know you're going to have people coming on after me that'll talk specifically about that. But it's a worthy engagement to participate in, and kids need to start practicing their poetic delivery now. The poem is available on the website. Start practicing. Make sure that when you submit your entry, that it's exceptional, right? You want to be really be a contender as far as that goes, to being able to win, right? And it's such a patriotic poem as well. It just makes you feel good about yourself. And unless you have confidence, you can't really accomplish anything in this life. So it does a lot more than just the competition. It really gets us to reflect on why we love Jamaica. So that's definitely one thing I want to share. And then, of course, our innovation branch is on our website as well. Both applications are on the website. Please visit educationsolutionsinternational.org to get more information. And we're hoping, and like you said, this is the beginning of what we think is going to be a long-lasting relationship, a relationship that supports students in Jamaica. And as we grow, as we get, more ideas, and as we're supporting in more ways, we're going to come to you again, and hopefully you can, promote it so that everybody can get the benefit of all this goodwill that we have for them.
Absolutely. And I have a surprise for you. You're the only one on today's program.
Oh,
so
okay.
So there's nobody else coming after you. But I want to use the opportunity, though, because we normally do this, and sometimes at the beginning and towards the end, but we have to properly introduce you to our listeners and viewers all over the world, and to tell them that You, Mrs. Judy Villeneuve Dice, is the Chief Financial Officer of Education Solutions International, which is a non-profit 501c3 supporting students, educators, and school communities in the Caribbean through scholarships, grants, and professional development training. Uh, uh, we should tell you as well, listeners, that Mrs. Villeneuve Dice is also a champion for the 1.1 million New York City public school students with whom she works at the New York City Department of Education. She is serving as director of policy and engagement in the Office of Curriculum, Instruction, and Professional Learning in the Division of Teaching and Learning. She previously served as Director of Policy and Engagement to the Chief Academic Officer in the prior administration. Mrs. Villeneuve Dice previously served as a Director of Compliance Services within the Office of the General Counsel, where she led a team to ensure 1,600 public schools met federal, state requirements, and chancellor priorities to protect the most vulnerable student populations in temporary housing, multilingual learners, and students with disabilities. She has also served as Director of Operational Policy and Research to the Deputy Chancellor of Operations, where she led the citywide implementation of the mayoral school food program, Breakfast in the Classroom, to combat hunger among low income students and increase their learning outcomes. Mrs. Villeneuve Dice was awarded her BA in Communications from New York University and her Master's in International Affairs, Governance, Rights, and Statistics from the Milano School of Policy Management and Environment within the School of Public Engagement at the New School. She also earned the Learning for Excellence and Equity Certificate from Harvard Graduate School of Education. She's also a doctoral candidate. Hello. Next time we interview her, she will be addressing her as Dr. Dice. she's so she's a doctoral candidate at Northeastern University's Doctor of Law and Policy Executive Program, and we're delighted that she has made the time to be with us on this afternoon's edition of This is Jamaica. So education has long been in your bones. Is it an acquired taste or a part of your DNA?
It's very interesting that you say that. Education, it's been a roundabout way that I've gotten to education. It's actually as a foundation from my parents. They met at Howard University. They were both students there. My mom was attending for public administration, and my father was in dental school. So I think my beginnings stem out of university learning. But it's been my experience in the United States education system compared to the education I received when I was very young in Jamaica that always inspired me to make a difference in the United States. I think that in Jamaica, that's our people, and we see ourselves as an extension of the success that our children have. So we're very motivated to help them to be their best. I really love Jamaican teachers for that reason. My experience in the United States was somewhat different because you come into an established regime where there is this level of this idea that we're not as brilliant as we are because of our complexion. So for me, I've always wanted to be one of those people at the table to help make a difference, to make it possible for people of color and underrepresented communities to be able to thrive in this country where I live, where I was born. But I still identify with being a Jamaican and the fact that we love education in such a way because of the fact that it mobilizes us to be successful in whatever we want to achieve. So for me, it's just this great equalizer that education provides. And while I love to get education myself, I definitely am so happy to have partnered, privately and professionally with Dr. Dwayne Dice, who is also equally motivated to ensure that those students that follow us are following us in a way that we can ensure their success with the little that we have learned in our own paths, our professional paths. So that's why I'm interested in education, and I'll never stop being interested in education. I love the way that it helps our people flourish, and I'm looking forward to seeing, as we pass the torch to them, that they're fully prepared to take and lead in ways that we could never have imagined.
Absolutely. And finally, as we wrap, no doubt there is scope for further engagement, considering your wealth of knowledge, expertise, and experience. And I mean, lessons can be taught on both sides in terms of some of the, which is why I love the innovation competition that you're putting out there, because that's what we have to do. We live in a time, the environment is so dynamic that we really should be excited about it, because it forces us to think and to, as they say these days, pivot and to identify new possibilities and opportunities. And so we look forward to speaking with you again about those new opportunities and possibilities. But for the time being, you've been so gracious in spending so much time with us this afternoon. We appreciate it. And we know Peter Gracie appreciates your support as well on behalf of the This is Jamaica team.
Absolutely. And thank you. And thank you, Peter Gracie. Thank you, Dervan.
It's been a pleasure. And all the best to Dr. Dice. Thank you very much.
Please. I just want everybody to go to Peter Gracie's website as well. If you could just repeat that.
That's
again,
thisisjamaica.org. Thisisjamaica.org. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Take care, listeners. We've been speaking there to Judy Villeneuve Dice. And as we said to her, next time we speak, we'll refer to her as Dr. Villeneuve Dice. And at the end there, I was through her saying hi to her husband, who's already Dr. Dice, who we've interviewed before on this program. Thank you for making it This is Jamaica during both sides of the story on Power 106 FM this week. After the break, we're still on the subject of education.
This is Jamaica. This is my country. A son of this island.
I keep forgetting the closing. How long is it?
Fearless of fear, I stand in awe.
Okay.
Only love prevails.
About maybe a minute and a half.
God's hands. This is Jamaica, where joy cometh in the morn, surrounded by mystic waters, crashing upon the shores where only heroes are born. Only if you knew Jamaica as well as I do, then you would utter, I love you, Jamaica. God knows I do. This is Jamaica, a simple speck in the universe. Our hearts beat and pulse in every nation, but only second to the kingdom of God. We put Jamaica first. I am Jamaican, regardless of where you may find me. Black, green, and gold is the marrow in my bones. So if I die away from my island, I pray to God you'll take me home.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4:02 on Power 106.
Physical activity boosts your brain power. Enough energy to push the grades them higher. Play ring games, Oscar, standing shandy. Physical activity increase.
For the segment coming up.
Preparing the exam and you feel stress. Take a walk, or bust a one stretch. Can't do an hour, just try do something. Movements build stronger bones and muscle we have. More joy of enjoyment, long life. Active 60 minutes a day. More joy of enjoyment, long life. Active 60 minutes a day.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Pernell Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
We want to help save precious lives by creating greater awareness about safe driving practices. This Wednesday, June 29, Power 106 FM will bring you another in our series of road safety broadcasts. Join both sides of the story with host Dervan Malcolm 2 to 5 p.m. for a live broadcast from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot. This broadcast is brought to you by the Island Traffic Authority and the Road Safety Unit. That's a live broadcast of both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm this Wednesday, June 29, 2 to 5 p.m. from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot, right here on Power 106 FM.
Your daddy's rich and your mom is broken.
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:04. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:04. 现在地点了4点04分. 4 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And joining us right now to talk about wellness among youth is a lady who is very well known and does a lot of work in this area. She is Senator Dr. Sapphire Longmore, President of the Jamaica Psychiatric Association. Senator Dr. Longmore, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very good, Dervan. Good evening to all your listeners. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us. And so we've been hearing a lot, we've been seeing a lot, we've been doing a lot, no doubt, in terms of promoting wellness or just appreciating how challenging the times are and the extent to which we can arm in a good way our students or youth or young people to function effectively and in a healthy way in this environment. Can you give us an idea of what the plan is as far as you're aware with respect to the Ministry of Health and Wellness working with you to get a team of mental health professionals into schools as part of ongoing efforts to bring wellness resources to youth?
Thank you, Dervan, and thank you for providing a forum for us to get this message out. It is very critical because, you know, a lot of persons, especially in my background profession, when COVID hit, we already were kind of sounding the alarm that the next event and the next concern, pandemic, so to speak, would be one of our mental health, so to speak, you know. And of course, there's always the long-standing issue of persons shying away from seeing to their mental care because of the stigma that is attached. Compounded on all of this is the fact that especially our young children, especially our teenagers, primarily because of their stages of development naturally. During our teen years, it is what psychologists and a great psychologist, Eric Erickson, basically crafted as being the stage of identity versus confusion. It is naturally a time when individuals are growing up and they're trying to find where they belong in certain respects, what type of clothes they wear, what hairstyle they want, what subjects they want to study at school, their sexual identity, what type of foods. It's a time of exploration, and that was very much arrested during the pandemic. And of course, this compounded issues that existed before. So we started to see some manifestations of this in our schools, unfortunately. Not just in Jamaica, this was happening across the world. It was almost a consequence of the pandemic. You know, the pandemic tended to heighten whatever existed before. So if there was a positive relationship, that was heightened. If it was a negative relationship, that was also heightened. And so the Minister of Health and Minister Tufton recognized this, and also Minister Williams in Education. And there was responses that were initially done through the Ministry of Education. They had some sensitization sessions, as well as they had some interventions on the ministry's part. But in my capacity within the Senate, within the government, the upper house, and my interaction with the Jamaica Psychiatric Association, the minister basically indicated that, and offered that opportunity for me to come on board to see how we can craft something. And what we have done is we are working in collaboration with this is a true collaboration between the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health to have some direct intervention, bringing in our mental health professionals from the Jamaica Psychiatric Association and the Jamaica Psychological Society. A lot of persons are not sure of the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist, but both associations have come together to say, all right, we're going to start with where the need is most. And what we see is especially our secondary schools. So we're starting out just this week. I'm actually coming from Lennon High School in Clarendon. It was a fantastic experience. It was well received. The teachers and guidance counselors are so very wanting it. The students were very receptive. Where we are rolling out a standardized talk, so to speak, or just a discussion around our taking care of ourselves and taking care of all aspects of our health. A lot of people when they focus on health, they think about the physical aspect. More and more we're getting increased sensitivity about our mental health. But Dervan, there's also our social health. And unfortunately, the most forgotten part of it, and probably one of the most significant aspects of health, is our spiritual health. And so we're trying to encourage and enable these young people to take care of all aspects of their health. And we're going in and actually helping them understand how they can do this.
And how do you go about selecting the schools?
Well, we're guided by the Ministry of Education because we wanted to. This came about in the just last few weeks. We were guided by the Ministry of Education and they tried to target the schools that they were having most of the behavioral issues and reports thereof. And what we have done is basically we have face-to-face sessions with the clinicians at some schools, and then other schools are actually zoomed in on the session. So when we go into one school, we may be addressing over 70, 80 children, but that now is then zoomed to other schools. So we're actually increasing our reach. And this, I should say, Dervan, is the first phase of this response, of this program of response, because it's not just the schools that we're working on. We recognize that the need is great within the society. We recognize that violence stems from the early traumas a lot of times that people go through. So we are going to also have a summer program coming out, summer play, as in PLAY, positive loving all of you. But if you recognize play, when you encourage people to play, you're actually encouraging the 4 aspects of health to be addressed. And so people should be playing at all ages, Dervan. Time and place for everything, but children should be playing, adults should be playing, old people should be playing. It is essential to our development.
I'm just thinking of the Jamaican expression. Every now and then somebody say, you can't rampy like you're a picnic.
And isn't that a good thing? That is the state of mind that we want to be in, to be happy and curious and free to be ourselves.
Yes.
So we want to, and we're going to formulate a program around summer play, especially for our teenagers and our teachers. Our teachers are under so much stress. We recognize that they need some intervention and some help with how to deal with the classroom issues. Then in September, we want to create a special program for the younger children, the primary schools, and then going out into the wider community. But Dervan, on top of all of this, what is also critical is that we're working to equip and properly resource the professionals in the field. Because with all of this sensitization, we need to have, where we had reduced staffing for a very significant patient load, we have to address that. So we are seeking to enroll and encourage more persons in the social working industry, as psychologists, as psychiatric aides, as mental health officers, and of course as psychiatrists, occupational therapists, those other professions in the mental health field that help to deal with the entire individual and their therapy.
Mhm. Sounds like a lot of work. I was wondering when you started reference to the schools that you just this week. I was wondering, I'm thinking, well, it's end of year exams and the children are going off on a break, but clearly you have it all worked out from this period right into the summer with your summer program and then straight into September.
Yes, Dervan. We did recognize that, and we did recognize that the exams we have to be trying to work around the exams, but we also recognize that it was critical for us to try and reach as many students as we could before the summer break, because when the summer comes with all of what is going on in the society, that is when the propensity for going down the wrong direction may also increase. So
Exactly.
we want to at least try and get the message in before.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so we're coming up on a break, but we want to find out in terms of resources, uh, how can youngsters, in particular the youth, access certain resources? For example, who to talk to? Is there some kind of a hotline? Is there a page? Is there an app? Whatever, something, some point of connection, so that even when they're not in a structured space where they are being exposed to a particular type of behavior, they they will be able to check themselves by matching their behavior with the certain tenets that would be available, as I said, maybe on some site or by calling a particular number. Let's hear about those possible, if not already existing, resources. One moment, please, listeners. Our guest is Senator Dr. Sapphire Longmore. She is the president of the Jamaica Psychiatric Association.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Exporters, importers, all stakeholders. Get the facts on Jamaica's Authorized Economic Operator, or AEO program, at the Jamaica Customs Agency's CCC online forum. Click, connect, and converse with Customs. Thursday, June 30, 2022, from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. under the theme Jamaica's AEO program, facilitating a safer and more effective supply chain, locally and globally. Log on for AEO requirements and benefits and clarify any misconceptions. So click, connect, and converse with Customs. Thursday, June 30 at 10:30 a.m. Register at jacustoms.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Under the law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 50 years. That's right. The program is brought to you on Thursdays by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection. Under the law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and 9:55 p.m. Thursdays on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
We want to help save precious lives by creating greater awareness about safe driving practices. This Wednesday, June 29, Power 106 FM will bring you another in our series of road safety broadcasts. Join both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm from 2 to 5 p.m. for a live broadcast from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot. This broadcast is brought to you by the Island Traffic Authority, the Road Safety Unit, the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, and Hunnigan Funeral Services. That's a live broadcast of both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm this Wednesday, June 29 from 2 to 5 p.m. from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot, right here on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call Wednesday evenings at 8 with Powering Your Health. This Wednesday, June 29, we'll focus on the increasing potency of locally grown marijuana and tune in to hear about post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. You're invited to call in with your health questions and concerns on 876-922-41125. You can also send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. We look forward to your company. That's Powering Your Health. This Wednesday, June 29 at 8 8 p.m. only on Power 106 FM.
Y ahora es en español. Son las 4:18. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:18. Tiensai, Tidian le Su Dien Sherba Fen. 18 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? Yes, young people, we know it's exam time. And, well, most of you are through by now as far as the exams are concerned. But you know what we always say, even when school is out, homework is always in, because homework is about preparation. And proper preparation prevents poor performance. And remember, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people, as we continue our conversation with Senator Dr. Sapphire Longmore, President of the Jamaica Psychiatric Association. The Ministry of Health is promoting wellness among youths, and Senator Dr. Longmore is at the forefront of that mission, and lots of partnerships and collaborations and a stakeholder involvement. And we're anxious to learn more now in terms of the resources and tools and maybe even techniques that are going to be applied for the rest of the academic year, which is about a couple of days, and into the summer, and then September. Insofar as you can tell us that much at this stage, Senator Dr. Longmore, over to you in that regard.
Okay, thank you, Dervan. So the whole message, is literally that you have to take care of all of you to take care of you.
Right.
And we oftentimes, I mentioned before, forget that there are 4 tenets to health: your physical health, your mental health, your social health, and your spiritual health. And it's about balance, especially in the teen years. It's about balance. Almost anything that is abused in the teen years can be detrimental later on if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're trying to do is enable these kids to recognize, to deal with making sure that they're seeking the positives in their life, but also seeking out and knowing how to address the negatives and how to get help when it is needed. We're going in and we're showing them practical tips on all 4 aspects of health as to how to enhance it and how to develop it. Dervan, the truth of the matter is that we're also dealing, we know that Jamaicans and our society is plagued with anger. And the truth of the matter is that angry people are hurt people. And that is one of the things that we have to kind of dial back sometimes and recognize that sometimes the anger that we see is coming from hurt. And if we're able to address
in fact, don't mean to cut you, but isn't there an expression that says hurt people hurt people?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. Hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
And in the different reflections of hurt. Yes. And that is one of the things that we're trying to help individuals recognize, that, it starts with loving yourself, extending that love to your family, extending that love to your community, and extending that greater love to sharing that as best you can, and recognizing again when intervention might be needed. The fact of the matter is that there is a lot of work to be done, and I'm just saying this, that the fact that it is at this time of year, we recognize that it is very near to when the schools are closing, but we're hoping that we can drop a little seed, drop a little pebble, so that it creates a ripple. It is about behavior change. And once you have what we call insight, when you give somebody an understanding of what ought to be, it is amazing how that can change their behavior subsequently. So wherever we can find the avenue to drop that pebble, you never know the effect that it might have. And that might spread around and invariably affect even those who are not directly exposed to it. Yes. But that is and of course I'm highly preventative in my approach. But we do have resources for individuals who may be going through issues now that might need urgent intervention. So the ministry, I think last year it was the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information established at that time a child abuse helpline, that's 211. So anybody who is going through abuse or a child who might be feeling that they need some help, 211 takes you to a direct intervention or someone who can assist. And remember now, Dervan, we know about the traumatic, usually verbal, sexual, emotional, and physical abuse is what we're aware of. But the most common form of abuse is actually neglect, child abuse in the form of neglect. And so 211 is that straight line. You also have like the Safe Spot Initiative, which is a helpline for children who are 18 years and up. And there's a WhatsApp number that goes along with that Safe Spot. Or you can go on Safe Spot on Snapchat or Instagram. There's another one, the You Matter helpline, that is in collaboration with UNICEF. They have that chat line for 16 to 24 years old, and that's actually taking a very big uptake. And you can also go on Instagram and you find that that's You Matter. And of course, the Ministry of Health runs the Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Helpline, which is 888 New Life. So there are a number of resources, and of course, the guidance counselors, your medical doctor, your whoever, a trusted adult or someone, even a trusted friend, could be that person who is able to offer that help in hand.
Yes. And what can you say of the general response you've gotten from the young people? How are they reacting? What are they saying? What are they asking you? How are they feeling about this approach?
As I said, Dervan, I did one of the sessions Zoom yesterday. I went face to face for one today. I will tell you this: we have a pre and a post test that we applied at the sessions. You put the test before, do the intervention, and then you do the test after. On one of the questions, I just reflect one of the questions that was there. Is like, what do you think spiritual health is? And the answers were like, you rub up with oil, you go to see Obeah, you can talk in tongues, or you're seeking, or it is a natural inclination for individuals to seek a sense of purpose. It is amazing the amount of children who ticked off things around Obeah, rubbing up with oil, talking in tongues. That is the concept of what persons had out there. After the intervention, almost every child is recognizing seeking the sense of purpose in life as a part of their spiritual inclination.
Absolutely.
And so far, you know that when you go in and you try to talk about something like this with children, they usually tune you out or them. I had full attention. I had full attention, and they were actually, you could see them being actually were very thankful at the end of it. Not to mention the teachers and the guidance counselors. So far from what I am seeing, maybe I am biased, but it does seem to have very good effect, and the reception has been very welcoming.
That's very encouraging news. Finally, your word to the youth listening to us, the young people who are tuned in, whether of their own volition or otherwise. Maybe they're in a space where the radio is being played in the background. And here's an opportunity, Dr. Longmore, for you to perhaps share a general word of advice to the young people, some of whom are confused, maybe a little worried, concerned, hesitant, all the different emotions that they go through. What would you suggest to them in general terms, in terms of how they react or respond when they are not feeling up to it? They are maybe getting certain thoughts that they want to expunge. They want to get rid of them. They don't want to, but those thoughts are, spinning around in the head, and they're engaged with friends, with peers who perhaps are not choosing the straight and narrow, but are seeking to go elsewhere.
Dervan, that's a very complex question, many answers, but I will simply say this. that as a child, we need to appreciate being a child. We should allow our children to be children and recognize that they are also not all knowing. They're growing up, they're developing. And sometimes we overburden ourselves with our own expectations and what we have. If a child is going through something that is overwhelming, I would hope that at least one individual is in their life that they can turn to and seek the help. Don't be shy to ask for help. If there's no one single individual, the resources that I mentioned before, sometimes an absolute stranger might be the person who is able to help you. But go to someone who is more established and respected in the community to say, and is known that that person might be able to offer some advice and assistance. Even if they themselves are not able to, they can direct you as to where to go. Share it with a friend. And you just mentioned about friends and so forth. You know, the way I break it down to my two boys, I say to them, a friend is someone who makes you feel good about yourself. You know, the concept and the truth is that you have individuals that sometimes you encounter, you're not too sure about the energy, you have what we call frenemies.
Yes.
Make sure you explore thoroughly, follow your gut feeling. And if something is not comfortable with you, step back. You don't have to cuss and carry on and argue. Just step back, as the song said, drink some water and mind your own business, and watch and see what is genuinely there. And lastly, Dervan, one of my messages, the 4 tenets of health, the simple thing, the power of play, Play. Play actually embodies all 4 aspects of health. And I encourage people of all ages to engage in play. Right now, our children tend to be caught up in the tablet and the online space. As parents, we need to guide and navigate them, but seek to play and seek to laugh.
Well said, well put. Thank you so much for adding value to this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM. Senator Dr. Sapphire Longmore. We look forward to speaking with you again pretty soon.
Thank you very much, Dervan. All the best for the rest of the evening, and find some time to play.
Oh, yes. I will. Thank you very much. Take care. Senator Dr. Sapphire Longmore, President of the Jamaica Psychiatric Association, introducing us to the Health Ministry's wellness promotion among young people.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. National Irrigation Commission customers, you can now pay your bills online using your Visa credit card, MasterCard, or NCB key card by visiting the website www.nicjamaica.com. Select Pay Your Bill option, then follow the instructions, or visit any one of their office locations and pay using your debit card. The National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Gen Zers, we're back! Gen Z returns with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics, and a whole new vibe. We're talking finance, dating, dancehall. You think it? We discuss it. You don't want to miss it. So join us Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Power 106 FM and 6:30 p.m. on TVJ. Gen Z, a show for the youths, by the youths.
Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance in association with Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging. Immune Active Denk, a combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense. And Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to praise, to worship, and to serve, presents Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with host Alicia Taylor and rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson airs every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
Both sides of the story.
We want to help save precious lives by creating greater awareness about safe driving practices. This Wednesday, June 29, Power 106 FM will bring you another in our series of road safety broadcasts. Join both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm from 2 to 5 p.m. for a live broadcast from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot. This broadcast is brought to you by the Island Traffic Authority, the Road Safety Unit, the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, and Hunnigan Funeral Services. That's a live broadcast of both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm this Wednesday, June 29 from 2 to 5 p.m. from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot right here on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call Wednesday evenings at 8 with Powering Your Health. This Wednesday, June 29, we'll focus on the increasing potency of locally grown marijuana and tune in to hear about post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. You're invited to call in with your health questions and concerns on 876-922-41125. You can also send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. We look forward to your company. That's Powering Your Health. This Wednesday, June 29 at 8 p.m. only on Power 106 FM.
Que ahora es en español, son las 5:26. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:26.现在几点了？5点22分。26 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. We should say hello and good afternoon to a couple of people here. Let's see. Good afternoon to Leon Dorman. We're told he's a regular listener to this program. And his nephew told us so. That's Orville Dorman. Good afternoon, Orville Dorman. And hello to Tanya Dorman as well. So to the members of the Dorman family. In fact, they are hosting their annual health fair, and that is scheduled for Friday afternoon. I beg your pardon. Well, Friday all day, morning to afternoon. And Orville Dorman and his family engage in this exercise every year, except where there are issues or there have been issues, for example, with COVID-19. But they have been organizing this We Care Health Fair. That's what I was trying to remember. We Care Health Fair. And so it's happening. Those of you in and around Maxfield Avenue, Whitfield Town. Let's see if we can bring it up. The health fair is happening at Whitfield Town Church of God, 30 to 31 Whitfield Avenue, Kingston 13. And they have served Whitfield Town community for 11 years now. They've been serving the community. About 2,500 people have received health and wellness treatment. About 10 homes with multiple families have been gifted water tanks. They've had water tanks installed, and support has come from Whitfield Town Church of God, Nurse S. Chisholm Ford, the church clinic nurse, other churches, corporate Jamaica, community businesses, government agencies, nonprofit agencies, healthcare practitioners, family and friends. And the involvement of Pastor Reverend Dr. Dave Goss is also highlighted on on this flyer. There's another flyer here that we have. So they start at 9 o'clock. So it's 9 to 4, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We Care Health Fair. And this is honoring the memory of Mrs. Leela Mae Dorman. Mrs. Leela Mae Dorman. And the scriptures also included Matthew 25:40, New International Version. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. So it's this Friday, the 1st of July, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Whitfield Town Church of God, 30 to 31 Whitfield Avenue, Kingston 13. There's going to be an opening message. Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Lady Allen. National Health Fund will be represented. Grace Kitchens. HIV tests will be on offer. Counselors, doctors, pharmacists, dentists. The Diabetes Association of Jamaica Health Screening. BP, I'm trying to remember what that is. BMI, Body Mass Index, Vision, ECG. So vision screening, ECG, and sponsors on board, Grace and JN Bank, highlighted here. And as we said, Pastor Reverend Dr. Dave Goss is playing his part as well. So check it out. And it's been 18 years since the passing of Leela Dorman, the matriarch of the Dorman family. And I gather we'll also be hearing from the Member of Parliament, Dr. Angela Brown Burke, and as we mentioned, Lady Allen as well. So that's Friday in Whitfield Town, more precisely, Whitfield Town Church of God. Looking forward to the community support. After all, this is for the community. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Lots of messages to clear. Clement Villiers says, is this true about Hope Gardens? Here they come. If it's true about paying to enter a portion of the park, we must chase those crazy bald heads out of town. We look to beautiful country, but here is another way of taking skim. All right, Clement Villiers, thank you for your message. And that's in reference to the concern expressed earlier on by someone who went to Hope Gardens and had to pay to visit the Chinese garden. I was saying earlier on, I have done that tour, but I just can't remember if I had to pay. Maybe, I don't remember. I'm really not recalling right now. But that's what that message is about. Let's clear some more of these messages. David says, not to belabor the point, British chattel slavery was uniquely different from all other types of slavery throughout history, simply because of the chattel part not being seen as humans but as property. Furthermore, the Scottish court and the British court rule that throughout British law, they gave no authority to own Jamaicans. An American Jesuit stated, no amount of the world's treasure, not even the $3 trillion worth of diamonds found in Uganda, is enough to compensate for the loss of human liberty. Thank you, David Crossburn, for your message. Patriotic Jamaican in New York says, Mr. Malcolm, those callers who called in and criticized my text, I would like them to explain what they mean by saying we should put things in context. Are they saying the Africans had no idea what slavery was? Are they saying the Africans were not smart enough to see that they were being duped? Are they saying the Africans hated their brothers and sisters so much that they thought the punishment of slavery was warranted? What is the context they're talking about? They can talk about a few Jewish collaborators, but there is no other race in history involved in the kind wholesale betraying of their brothers as happened in Africa. And to think that it was just a few Europeans who sailed down the Atlantic Ocean in a few rickety wind-aided boats and controlled a whole continent of people. We need to face facts, says patriotic Jamaican in New York. Horace, otherwise known as Spider, says, "Good afternoon, Dervan. I'm happy to report that the section of road leading to Majestic Gardens from Marcus Garvey Drive side is finally fixed." Thank you very much for that bit of good news, Horace, otherwise known as Spider. Here's our listener from North Carolina saying, "Dervan, ask driver if the Africans invited the Europeans to come and buy slaves. He's just trying to find an excuse to justify the white man taking our ancestors into slavery based on his narrative. He is so brainwashed that he is blaming his own ancestors for being enslaved. Willie Lynch has him mentally enslaved," says this listener from North Carolina to Driver in America. G Mac in the Cayman Islands says, "Happy Tuesday to you. I know many of your listeners are going to chastise me for what I'm about to say without proper analysis of the arguments. The recent pronouncement by callers regarding reparation. As a black Jamaican, I'm disappointed that we continuously beg our former slave masters to repay for damage done to our ancestors. Britain has sucked us dry and cast us away like orange peel, which is not dissimilar to what they did to most of the countries they colonized. On the eve of Jamaica's independence, then Premier Sir Alexander Bustamante and Mr. Edward Seaga, who was then a junior minister, they led a delegation to meet the British government. The request was to secure a reparatory justice grant to enable the funding of the country's first national strategic plan. The strategic plan entailed the building of factories so that Jamaica could enter an age of manufacturing." Let's come back to this in a moment.
Oh, your daddy's rich.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Exporters, importers, all stakeholders. Get the facts on Jamaica's Authorized Economic Operator, or AEO program, at the Jamaica Customs Agency's Triple C online forum. Click, connect, and converse with Customs. Thursday, June 30, 2022, from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. under the theme Jamaica's AEO program, facilitating a safer and more effective supply chain, locally and globally. Log on for AEO requirements and benefits and clarify any misconceptions. So click, connect, and converse with Customs. Thursday, June 30 at 10:30 a.m. Register at jacustoms.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Gen Zers, we're back. Gen Z returns with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics, and a whole new vibe. We're talking finance, dating, dancehall. You think it? We discuss it. You don't want to miss it. So join us Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Power 106 FM and 6:30 p.m. on TVJ. Gen Z, a show for the youths, by the youths.
Farmers, farm store owners, Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica Limited has all the answers for your farming needs. Tune in every Wednesday during Farm Talk for the feature Farming Today, as we educate you on how to farm smarter. That's Farming Today, every Wednesday during Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:45 a.m. Brought to you by Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica Limited, 2 East Ashenheim Road, Kingston.
Both sides of the story.
We want to help save precious lives by creating greater awareness about safe driving practices. This Wednesday, June 29, Power 106 FM will bring you another in our series of road safety broadcasts. Join both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm from 2 to 5 p.m. for a live broadcast from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot. This broadcast is brought to you by the Island Traffic Authority, the Road Safety Unit, the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, and Hunnigan Funeral Services. That's a live broadcast of both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm this Wednesday, June 29 from 2 to 5 p.m. from the Savannah Lamar Examination Depot right here on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call Wednesday evenings at 8 with Powering Your Health. This Wednesday, June 29, we'll focus on the increasing potency of locally grown marijuana and tune in to hear about post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. You're invited to call in with your health questions and concerns on 876-922-41125. You can also send a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. We look forward to your company. That's Powering Your Health. This Wednesday, June 29 at 8 p.m. only on Power 106 FM.
Que ahora es en español, son las 5:12, que la retile en français, les 5:12. 现在7点了5点加12分. 12 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Let's continue with more. We have a super long message here from GMAC in the Cayman Islands, which we started reading before the break. We'll come back to your message, GMAC. Let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Blessed noon.
Good afternoon.
Honorable, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, and blessed noon to all our listeners. I want to tell my honorable brothers and sisters in America and in England. In America, they must remember taking the pipeline, you know, to repatriate all black people back to Africa. You know, because the Europe, United Nations senators, them vote on it, you know, and so now populate them country. Taking the pipeline to send them back to Africa.
Who's organizing that trip?
They said, I come in here to make the time short. Let us finish my speech. And in Britain, them say they want a history white Britain. And Margaret Thatcher win her first election. They said she want a history white Britain. So those that go in the white men country and go on like not go on for no better building a state in this judgment return home to Africa. Africa not doing nothing.
What a wonderful thing for you to be in Jamaica. Goodness.
You, not I, and I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Yavi born here in Jamaica. You know? But
where were you born?
In Jamaica.
Oh, just checking.
Here in Jamaica, but he said he is a waking African. And he point us to Africa. What manner of man is this? You know? Our birthright. Jamaica no, Africa yes. So those of us who in America, and it comes after the white men table, and I go on like nothing, I go on food. Nothing, I go on food in this judgment.
Neither for you, obviously, because you're still here, as my late mother would say, nyamming up yourself. You're still here, nyamming up yourself. In other words, tormenting yourself and torturing yourself, as opposed to getting yourself out of this judgment, as you would say.
Yes, because people like you and others holding us down in Jamaica, with a Jamaica mentality.
How are we holding you down with our Jamaican mentality?
Because we come to now with a stubborn and rebellious.
Come for us. Where is the ship? We can't step out and we don't know. Where's the ship? What are we stepping into? What is the mode of transportation? Are we going to take the plane or the boat?
If the ship comes, you ready?
Where's the ship?
Ready?
Where's the ship?
The time is now, but the hour is not yet come. You know, so about which we are here, yamming up yourself. You hold on from the Jamaica mentality, so you don't want to let out of the Americans. You don't want to put America.
But it's the same thing for you because you're still here. Why are you tormenting yourself?
We have to come to some people and we can't let them. You know, people like you and others who don't want to go to the Americas.
Well, at that rate, you will never leave out of the Americas. And you will never make it to Africa at that rate. In fact, I'll put it stronger than that. We will never make it to Africa at the rate at which you're operating.
You can't speak for yourself. You can't speak for others, and you don't want to do.
But you are looking to speak for others, right? You have been trying to speak for others for years now.
No, I'm speaking for my black self.
But if you're speaking for your black self, why don't you take your black self back to Africa?
Yeah, we are educated to know, to return home. You know, and left out of the white men country, on the day I go like a fool now.
But you are here too, so why don't you take away yourself?
You say, pack up what you have and make me go where we are go walk Mount Zion Road, Africa with all its natural rights and resources. And we are now, you know, to come deal with I and I appear. Let out of the white men country in this judgment, yeah, and stop going like when I eat that.
But we're not alone in that regard. You fall into that category too?
No, I'm not part.
Yes, because you're still here. You're still here complaining day in, day out. As opposed, you know how many people have called us to offer you a plane ticket to go to Africa?
And a plane ticket to one. Some did send and some did come, you know? But we are talking about those that have been taken away.
So what do you want?
So we want 7 and 9 miles of high water boat from all world exact government to send us back to Africa from out of the African diaspora.
And how are you going to get that to happen? Who are you going to be petitioning for that to happen?
The same people them on a petition to reparation, you and your colleagues them.
Me and my colleagues.
Yeah.
For me.
Article 15 that one have the right to a nationality. America no want to, England no want to. Remember, America, England, and Shekiri.
So why are you wasting your time with people who don't want you?
America and England?
Yes, why are you wasting your time with them?
We are not wasting our time. We are demanding what is ours. Our right to return home. Because them take us out of Africa and mass of Africa. Europe scramble to Africa. And brainwashing you tell them about black people tell you out. You know, see, like we're in Jamaica, yeah, the maroon then go. And the same thing with us in Africa.
So hold on there now. I know nothing in this world is free, you know. So if we decide to get onto that vessel, don't we have to pay to get onto the vessel?
Have to pay?
Yes.
I'm going to give a typical example. Churchill and the whole of them, the dark Marcus Garvey, so we're not going to get shit, you know. Here no. You are building. Hear them to say, where you going to get water? You take to the sea out there, and if you can't get the sea and free water, we are still in the white man's blood.
Yes.
Go back to Africa. You know,
anyway.
So you're not going to get soldiers, and you are trained then.
All right. I think we need to get you your own program. Maybe that would make a difference for you.
This is freedom of the press, you know. Freedom of the press, you know. So press freedom is international law.
Yes.
So
but you need your own program because this campaign is going to require much more. Your campaign is going to need more than just the odd phone call every now and then. So we're gonna leave it there for now because we have to get in some more responses.
That's what we can get, you know.
All right, take care.
Yes.
All right, take care. Thanks for the call. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. This one says, hi, Dervan. Right, let's go up the line. Hi to you. Miss June says, it is amazing listening to you and how many women of Jamaican heritage are doing well around the world. It is so nice. And Eureka says, good afternoon, Dervan. With everything increasing, how do the operators of China Garden and Hope Gardens would keep up with their expenses? We want everything for free. And Pauline has sent us a voice note. We haven't been able to listen to that, so to determine whether to play it. Patrick, otherwise known as Jamaica Love, is laughing eye water. He's laughing until he has started crying. David Dixon says, good day, Dervan. Is there a problem with JPS? The repair team seems to be having issues. I made a report from 8:35 a.m. yesterday. There has been no team yet. If you could send us this precise information, David, we'll be happy to share the information with a representative from the JPS. Be as precise as you can, and we'll forward the information. including your contact number. Although we can send that because it's in our system here. Ren Mendez in Toronto, Canada says, Sir D, why do you continue to punish us, your faithful listeners? Ren Mendez. And that's in reference to the call that was just concluded. So it is. All views are contending. Indeed. So it is. And I'm seeing a call from a familiar number here live on air.
Darling, Chrissy had it on her thing today. We had it on the coffee table and we were playing it. Somebody sent it to her. What's up?
Okay. Yes, indeed.
Yes, so we were listening to your voice. Thanks again for letting me hear my sweetheart. Dervan, you don't know.
It's the least
well,
we could do.
Well, you know.
Yes.
Boy, I said to do this, Chrissy, with this dancing. Listen, man, I'm going to drink Moscato. I'm just going to taste it and get cake and thing. But listen, man, we're giving thanks to people like you.
Thank you.
There's a song that they say, people like you. Who is it? You know that song?
That's Gramps Morgan.
Gramps Morgan. Tino used to be playing it.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Pardon. Well, we're here and we're remembering him. You know which one? That one. You know which one he played today?
Yes,
That's what Christy was playing.
Yes.
He knows this one.
Yes.
Boy. So, boy, listen. Time goes by. You never forget.
Indeed. Well, thank you.
Like you.
Thank you very much for the call. Good to hear your voice.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.
And we're keeping all the memories going.
Indeed. So it should be. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. 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 And that's the widow of the late Winston Thomas, popularly known as Tino, for those who remember that caller. Yes. That's it. We're out of time. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. For today, we're out of time, as we said. All things being well, see you at the Savlamar Motor Vehicle Examination Center for another road safety broadcast tomorrow. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
Good afternoon, I am Deidre Gordon. Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines today, Tuesday, June 28, 2022. Prosecution to seek a death penalty for the man accused of killing 5 members of a Clarendon family. Warrant issued for the arrest of a teenager following the killing of the 17-year-old mother of his child. State of emergency in St. Catherine will not be extended. Opposition tables questions seeking details on the funding of Kamina Johnson-Smith's failed campaign for Commonwealth Secretary General. In business news, oil prices increased by 2% today. The news segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by Flow, building a better network every day.